Welcome to This Week in Anderson High School Sports here on ESPN Media, powered by Sidearm Sports. I'm Jason Griefer, and as always, we're joined by Chris Newton and Zach McCormick, the men who run the show at Anderson. Boys, how are we?
Doing great.
Fantastic.
Good.
Doing great.
Good. Let's get right into it, Newt. We were talking just before we came on here about a really good week you had this past week, and let's start off with your football team. We knew coming in this week and really all season long they're going to score points in droves. Jackson Kuhn continues to lead the league in passing yards by a country mile, but you shut out West Claremont this past week, 42-0. You get the win there to go to 3-1. And we had talked a couple of weeks ago about really the disappointment in giving up 70 to Kings. Now they turn it around and shut out West Claremont. How excited were you to see the defense finally get going in that direction and start to catch up with how good your offense has been?
Well, it was, excited beyond words, that's for sure. I mean, we were so happy and proud of those kids and coaches. And it's been an interesting year. As you said, we're going to score points. There's no doubt about that. We gave up 40 points in our first game, and it kind of got masked because we won. We scored 50, and that can happen. And then in the end, maybe giving up 70 was the best thing that could have happened to our football team, because you could really see a different demeanor in them when we played Lebanon last week, and you could see we were running to the ball a heck of a lot better, tackling better, and then this week was just an outstanding week, and again it gave our coaches a chance to go back to some basics and work on some things that we needed to improve on, and Nick Ayers is a great coach at West Claremont, and I got to tell you, to shut out them, because they've played some good football here, and to shut them out is a tremendous feat. Our defensive line, Cole Hinkle, James Osowski, they played incredibly well. And I want to say Casey O'Toole might have made 107 tackles. I had people that were hanging out over in the town center Friday night that heard the loudspeaker and thought Casey O'Toole was the only one playing defense. That's the only name they heard all night long. Tackle by O'Toole, tackle by O'Toole, tackle by O'Toole. And so I think his leadership really came forward on Friday night, and just super proud of those kids.
Yeah, big win there, no doubt. Zach, let me talk a little bit about something Newt just brought up a moment ago. You're a former athlete. You're a Bartels Road Hall of Famer. When you saw, as Newt talked about, sometimes maybe it's a good thing to get punched in the mouth like you did, giving up 70 to Kings, and then you turn around from there. Is that something you saw as well, that maybe you take that one on the chin, but in the long run, it turns out to be a good thing because you put so much more focus and intensity and all those types of things into the little details?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every team throughout a season always has one kind of point in the year where they either get smacked in the mouth or something all kind of gets together and they get it rolling. And for us, it happened to be giving up 70 points. And I'm sure our defense everywhere, listening to the radio on the way back from the game, 15:30, everybody's talking about how good Anderson's offense is, but how our defense struggles a little bit. So it helps them play with the chip on their shoulder, and I'm incredibly proud of how they bounced back, because, West Claremont's they're no slut rocks out there either. They're a good football team. So it was awesome to see our guys be able to stop the run, come up and fill the holes. And yeah, like Newt said, Casey O'Toole, he had the plays with a chip on his shoulder anyways, and then I think giving up 70 points, he was like, yeah, we're not going to do that again. So it was good to see our guys bounce back, and I'm super proud of the way that they handled getting 70 put on, and then now how shutting out them, it's good to see them bounce back.
A really impressive turnaround, especially just within a couple of weeks' time. Let's move on to soccer. Let's talk about the boys first. Sitting in a three-way tie atop the league with Loveland and Kings. So it looks like maybe just you three deciding the league title. Still a long way to go, but again, you three have kind of separated yourselves at the moment. You get Kings tomorrow. Big match here to try and, put them behind you in the standings. I need a full breakdown. What can we expect? What's it going to take for you to put Kings behind you in the standings, knowing that the Loveland match is waiting in a couple of weeks?
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, Sam, Sam Miller, Mike Slemons, Isaiah Chapman, our coaches are really good about in stressing with the kids. Listen, here's where we want to go, but here's where we are right now. They're always in the now, and so they know the league will take care of itself, but we're going to play one game at a time, and they're really good at focusing in on that. I got to tell you, Tuesday night when we played Milford, that was a great soccer game. Both teams were very physical. A ton of skill was in the game as well, and we came out on top of that. And then a good win Thursday night at Little Miami, and then the boys played incredibly well Saturday night to get a 2-2 tie. So they are going in the right direction. And remember, this is coming after a very difficult loss that we suffered to Bartels Road. Kids could have hung their heads. I mean, they felt like they played very well. They just didn't get a result. And again, we got some great leadership in there with Owen Brandon and Jack Nobles, and Ryan Sullivan made some incredible saves in the goal this past week. So we're in the right direction, and our coaches are, like I said, are tremendous about staying focused on this is what we got. We'll play one game at a time, and then at the end of the year, we'll see what happens.
Zach, over on the girls' side, they're tied for first as well. They're right there with Loveland at 3-0-1 in the league. They're headed to Kings on the road this coming week. Kings is 2-0-2 in the league. So, again, they're right there knocking on the door of that first-place tie. So, both teams playing very, very well thus far early in the conference season. Do you get the sense when that is the case that these teams feed off of one another? Maybe the girls will look at the boys and say, hey, the boys got to win. We need to go out there and do the same thing as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that's super special about Anderson High School, just the camaraderie that all the kids have and kind of how they all cheer for each other. And I know this year is tougher than ever because, last year they were able to go to everybody's games, go to each other's games and cheer and support. And this year, they really get to see through Twitter, and then NFHS, we have these new awesome cameras that we can stream the games. But I definitely think that is something that they see and they look at because, you always want to win, but when the other team, when our boys' side or when our girls' side is rolling, I definitely think that they want to piggyback off that. We had a phenomenal week last week. And the girls had 3 wins last week, and Maddie Long, really came on last week. Kate Dorco just continues to just burn the nets down.
She just does what she does, right?
She does. And Coach Boyd, we were talking to him the other day, and he said that she just has an extra gear, and she is fun to watch. And my favorite thing about Kate is she just plays so hard all the time. You can see the exhaustion level on her face, but you can never tell from her effort. It never stops. So it's awesome. And then tomorrow's going to be an interesting and awesome day for Newt, because Caitlin Calder is the head coach over there at Kings, and they really have it rolling right now. They're playing extremely well, which I do love the Kings soccer team because Caitlin Newton. But tomorrow, I hope they score 1 million goals and we score 1,000,001.
Okay. So then I always like to do this with you guys because I know you guys take us in really good fun. Is this going to be an Anderson sweep of Kings? Boys and girls.
I will tell you this.
Are you going to play the middle? Are you going to play the middle, Newt?
No. I will tell you this. Our girls soccer team got into the OHSA record books on Saturday night. We had this is unbelievable. We gave up a couple goals to Seton on game 1. We gave up 1 goal to Mount Notre Dame in game 2. And we just recorded our 8th straight shutout.
Wow.
And so that made the OHSA record books. The lowest one is 8. So I can't remember. I want to say the highest one was 15. So that, what an incredible task. Now remember, Jace, 3 of our defenders from last year's team are playing Division I college soccer right now.
Yeah.
So, and we've replaced those 3 with a sophomore, Claire Larman, a junior, Aubrey Leonard, a senior, Catherine Dorsey, who's phenomenal, and then freshman Jordan Williams and sophomore Maddie Long. I mean, so these aren't, these kids have come in and have just done an incredible job.
Yeah.
And everybody, at the beginning of the year, I don't think we gave up 3 goals all year last year, and we gave up 3 in our first game. And everybody's like, oh, the sky has fallen. The sky has fallen. And Andy Boyd went right to work, and those kids. Here's the thing, Jason. It goes back to our defense.
Yeah.
In football is we really talk a lot about pride here. Pride about the product that we put out and the pride that we have in ourselves. And those kids have a tremendous amount of pride in themselves, and they weren't gonna let that happen, continue to happen. So, just super proud of their effort.
And as you should be, they've played very, very well. Zach, we're picking up 2 wins, right?
I sure hope so.
We'll take it. Let's talk about your tennis team. They got the ECC championships coming up tomorrow. You're tied in the regular season with Bartels Road, but you did beat them head to head 3-2 a while back, so you've got the tie break there. We know what Allie Daly's going to do. She's still undefeated. She's 18-0 for fans out there who haven't seen the results from this past week. So no worries. She's still steamrolling through everybody. But I want to talk about the rest of the girls heading into this ECC tournament. They know they've got, the best player in the league in the bank, chalk up a W when Allie Daly's on the court. Does that give them an extra shot of confidence knowing that they've got her not only in the bank, but they also see her working every day, and they know that they have the ability to match her level of play too?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And these aren't any rookies. Lily Ryle and Andrea Mir-Turan, they both are our singles team. They're both juniors, and they've been starters since they were freshman year, and they've worked really hard to get where they are, and they're having incredible years as well. Where we've really come on is our doubles teams, and it's Kate Rothfuss, Lisette Morales, Kennedy Coldiron. I know, shoot, off the top of my head, I can't remember them all. There is 6 of them that play in those 4 spots. Ava Moran, Addie Dimling. Addie Dimling is a great example of a kid who's been a soccer player, and she decided just to play tennis. And heck, Brent Johnson, our head coach, couldn't rave about her enough. Alyssa Infante, I believe that's all 6 of them. And what he has done, what Brent has done all year is kind of rotate those 6 girls to find which 4 are going to play best together. And we really feel like right now they're in a position where they can go and every single one of our teams can challenge to be an ECC champion, on Tuesday night.
Zach, do they feel if they bring their A games to this tournament that they'll bring the title home?
I hope so. I mean, they definitely know that they can play as well as they can, that they'll definitely be able to put themselves in a good position to win. But Brent Johnson does an incredible job with getting those girls ready and prepared. And one of my favorite things that Brent does is he instills confidence in the girls.
Yep.
So they shouldn't lack confidence out there. And they're just incredible kids too. So they are doing all the right things all the time. Thank you, please. And there's no doubt that when they hit that line or hit those lines, though, that's going to go out the window hopefully, and we'll take care of business.
Let's move on to the Lynx, and let's start with the boys. They've got the ECC tournament coming up. They're out at Grizzly. Loveland and Bartels, they've kind of been at the top of the league all year long. That's not to say you haven't had golfers that have played well as well. Zach, let me go to you. First of all, are you going to be at this tournament, and will you be walking? And then do you get a sense that the players feel like they despite how well Loveland and Bartels Road have been playing, that they have a shot at this?
Let's say that I'll be running this time. How about that? I won't even get a card out. I'll just run from ball to ball.
Excuse me, but Patty just fell out of her chair. She's laughing so hard.
That's fair punishment for being on the cart, though.
Yeah. Our golf kids they're awesome. I mean, we have pretty much a six-headed monster. I mean, we have Jackson and Coleman Miller, who are, I mean, we talk about them week in and week out. Just the amount of time and they put into this game and the commitment from their parents to haul them all over the place and give them all the tools to be successful is awesome. And then Jake Parrish is coming along and playing some really good golf along with Charlie Kreider. So I'm really looking forward to them getting out there and hopefully tearing the Grizzly apart.
We'll see. Definitely see how that happens. And again, you're gonna have to post like a selfie or something on social media just to prove that you're out on the course, or a video that you're running or something, just so we all know for sure. There, Newt, the girls were in the ECC championships this past week. They finished fourth in that tournament. There, how did that performance compare with what the coaches thought they would see in that tournament, and how are they using that as kind of a springboard into the final stretch of the season?
Coach Hausberger was he was happy with their performance. You know, and there's always, I think we were 5 shots out of third place. And, you know, when you look back, you can very easily find those 5 shots. And so from one aspect, it was a little disappointing in that, oh my gosh, we couldn't make that push for third. But he was very happy. I know this. I was thrilled out there watching our girls because each one of our girls improved from the start to this. And I can't remember. I think Linda Taylor improved by double-digit strokes. Melissa Fickus, double-digit strokes. Megan Bryan's always going to be there. You know, she's the leader of that squad, and she does a tremendous job. But they all stepped up and improved from the beginning of the year. And it's neat, Jace, because the beginning of the year you play your pre-EC season tournament, and it's at the same place as the post. And so you really can evaluate, have you improved throughout the year? And each one of our girls did. And that's all we can ask for. So now they're ready to go. They've got a couple of little things before sectionals. I know we have Queen of the Hill coming up here. And they're excited for that, and we're excited to watch them compete and see what can happen in the sectionals.
Lastly, before I let you guys go, we're kind of some of our sports are at the midway point of the season. Others, like golf, are maybe turning the page towards the final stretch of the season. When in talking to and maybe just feeling the vibe around the school right now, are we still in a mode of we're just excited to have sports, or are we finally feeling some sense of normalcy again, that we're back to the grind, we're back to into the swing of things, I guess I should say, you know, like we would normally have, where you're in the middle of the season, you've got practice, then you've got a match or a game, and so on and so forth. Have we made that turn yet, or is everybody just still so happy just to have athletic events that they're just still riding that high?
Well, that's a great question, Jace, because you know, it's kind of like a two-headed monster. In my opinion, there's no doubt that we're finishing this season. I am 100% confident that we're doing the right things around the city of Cincinnati, and kids are doing the right things, and coaches are doing the right things, and we're going to make sure we play the rest of the season. What that also brings sometimes with human nature is to get comfortable and relax.
Yep.
And in this world, if you're relaxed and you're satisfied on things, then you're going to get bit. And so I can tell you this. I know exactly what I'm doing today. I'm sending an email to our parents, and I'm going to send an email to our coaches to let them know how proud I am of where we are. But I also want them to understand that we have to really buckle down and even go harder now. And sometimes, you know, when kids were wearing masks, sometimes it's easier now to not wear your mask because you get comfortable in where you are. And we've got to make sure we're going to go the distance in this. I mean, my hopes are we're playing well into November in most of our sports. Yep. And if we're going to do that, we have to do the same thing in October, into September and through October and November that we did in August. And sometimes we all need little reminders, and that's myself included. But in my opinion, we're going to go there. There's no doubt about that. But we all need to be reminded that the reason why we're here is because of the little tiny things we've done. Yep. And we need to continue to do those little tiny things.
Zach, where does it stand from your perspective?
I mean, you can't say it much better than that. But right now, I mean, the way that I look at it is we're full head of steam and we're going to get this thing done. I mean, we're all happy that I think we made it this far, but just as Newt said, I mean, we can't be satisfied and we can't let our guard down. We got to continue to do all the right things to make sure that we do finish this, because we always say the most important thing is that our kids are playing. The second most important thing is that the parents are able to watch their kids play.
Yeah.
And we want that to continue to happen all the way through November, like Newt said. So, I mean, we're definitely excited about coming up still, and that we're in this position that we're in, but we still have to buckle down and make sure that we're doing all the right things to continue to make that happen.
And just as importantly for everybody around Anderson sports during this time, now that we have sports, we get to do this. We get to have this show here. Yeah. And that's right up there at the top with everything else. I mean, at least in my humble opinion, but that's right there near the top with everything. Chris, Zach, great catching up again, and we'll do it again next week and brag on some other things that you've done, ECC title, first places, all that kind of stuff. What do you say?
That sounds great. Can I brag on one more group, Jace?
Why not?
I'd like to brag on our cross-country team.
Yeah.
Who was incredible on Saturday morning. And they've been running in the Sahara Desert, the heat, all year long. They finally got some weather that was conducive to running. Every single one of our boys varsity team members set personal best. Every single one. And then a number of our JV kids did as well. On our girls' side, most of them set personal best in the varsity, and a number of them on the JV side. But we had 5 kids get on the honor roll, the all-time honor roll on Saturday morning. Ian Loudon, Alex Kolowak, and Sam Mizukawa from the boys, and Trudy Schellenberger, and freshman Audrey Baker, okay? Freshman. Now, you remember that name, Jace, 4 years from now?
Writing it down.
4 years from now, you'll hear that young lady's name again and again and again and again. But we're super proud of those kids as well. And so 5 of them made the all-time honor roll.
That's a really good way to finish out the show here. Zach, take some notes for when you're running out there on the golf course. You could probably learn a thing or two from all those student athletes. Will he learn some lessons? We'll find out next week. Chris, Zach, thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you, Jace. Appreciate it as always.
That is Chris Newton, Zach McCormick joining us here for This Week in Anderson High School Sports here on ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.